President Biden's approval rating taking major hits. An ABC News Washington Post poll shows just 44% of Americans approve of the president's job performance, 51% disapprove. Only two other presidents had lower approval ratings this time in their presidency. Meantime, an NPR PBS poll shows just 43% approve of what the president's doing in the White House. Jonathan, your thoughts on this?
Well, even among independents, Dagan, that same poll shows that about 30%.
Mike, the polls are certainly going to be a call to action for all the media, the people who sold this president to the American people on those very things that Jonathan was just pointing out. So now they're going to do anything possible to try and prop up this president, change the subject. They're already starting to see it.
Well, Dagan, the thing is the eviction moratorium just got overturned. Unemployment just ran out. So for a lot of people on the bottom of the income stratosphere, life is about to get very, very, very difficult. So that's going on. And I would say the problems in Afghanistan are just beginning. To think that this exit in this fashion is the end of a chapter of U.S. involvement in the Middle East is naive at best. Things are likely to deteriorate much further. And when you're looking at the poll numbers, where is Biden's base? There's some of the lower readings of the polls said Trump got to 37%. That was nonsense. Trump had a base that was 42 or 44%, where he basically famously said he could go out to Fifth Avenue, shoot somebody, and he wouldn't lose a point. And that it's a ridiculous statement, but there's a little bit of truth to that. Where's the bottom for Joe Biden? I don't see a bottom. I see this getting worse and worse. Wait till he's in the 20s with the independents and some of the more moderate and rational Democrats start abandoning him. At one point, are they going to start talking about swapping him out for Kamala?
Jonathan, before we go, talk about El Salvador buying nearly $20 million of Bitcoin as it becomes the first country to make the cryptocurrency legal tender. This news did send the price of Bitcoin over $52,000 overnight. It's pulled back some now. It's hovering around 51. Your reaction to this, Mike?
Yeah, Dagan, we've seen a tremendous rally across the crypto spectrum over the last month to 6 weeks. What I would say is crypto's either real or it's not. It's binary. And you had Paulson talking about this a week ago, saying that he thinks it's a scam. He may very well be right, but if he's wrong, central bank money printing is not going to stop. And Bitcoin and crypto are your alternatives to traditional fiat currency. And if this money printing is going to continue forever, which I'd say it is based on the fact that it's based on the bicycle principle, where if you just keep printing, you're not going to have a problem. That the best days for Bitcoin, where it becomes a legal tender in this country and that country. El Salvador is not exactly an economic powerhouse, but I would say things in headlines like this are going to be far more in the future, and that the best days for Bitcoin and crypto are far ahead of us, not behind us.
Alex, let's move. Your family and your children don't move to New York City. Hundreds of inmates serving time on Rikers Island here in New York City are now set to be released early. This is just the latest wave in prison releases. Mayor Bill de Blasio, this is his way of dealing with a shortage of correction officers willing to work there. This is something that Maria has been talking about literally for a couple of years now, Mike, and they were releasing prisoners last year because of the coronavirus. It's not just defunding the police, it's getting rid of prisons at all costs. And right now, the city's jail population is the lowest it's been in more than 70 years at a time when crime is rising. How does this make any sense in reality?
Well, if you're a committed leftist that's disconnected from reality, it makes perfect sense. The entire criminal justice system is racist and should be abolished. But if you're a regular American, if you're a middle-class person trying to make it in New York City or the tri-state area, just know Bill de Blasio hates you. He hates your family. He hates your way of life. And he's doing whatever he can to advance his ridiculous, insane, far-left agenda to make it worse. Let's not forget, they did away with the plainclothes unit of the NYPD, kind of the biggest, most effective unit that caught the majority of criminals. He just abolished them last summer because he was looking for an excuse to do so. So, look, things, the crime and things are about to get a whole lot worse in New York City. It's horrible to see. Can't wait for a new mayor who hopefully can come clean this up.
Coddle criminals and treat the citizens and the victims of crime like detritus. Coming up, Cheryl, futures are essentially flat, a little bit to the plus side following that weak jobs report from August. The NASDAQ on Friday did manage to close at an all-time high. Right now, we've got green across the board here. In this shortened holiday trading week, 235,000 jobs were added in the month of August. That missed expectations by about 500,000 jobs. Meantime, Goldman Sachs is cutting its U.S. growth forecast, expecting consumers to spend less amid concerns over new COVID variants. This is also the extra federal unemployment benefits come to an end. I am joined all morning long by Jonathan Madison and Michael Lee. Mike, your reaction. How much of the market is buoyed or will be buoyed by the spending that they expect to come out of the Democrats in Washington, the additional spending?
Yeah, look, I don't think the market is dependent on that. So even if everything goes through as planned, it's going to take years before it really hits the economy. I'm sure you'd see some money spent in the first and second quarter next year, but these are long-term spending plans. And I think now that you have Joe Manchin out with that op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, not only means that he's against it, but he's probably got a half a dozen other Democrat senators that are very uncomfortable with the direction of this. Given the calamity in Afghanistan and this jobs number on Friday, I'd say the political capital from the White House is dwindling by the second. So look, I think this puts us in a little bit of a Goldilocks situation for equities, and I'll explain to you why. Now that the Fed has a tremendous amount of cover to kind of continue buying bonds or slow their taper, and the fact that earnings of the largest companies which dominate the index have just been blowing the doors off leads me to believe that the major indices are going to continue rallying throughout the rest of the year.
Joining us now is Center Square Investment Management Chief and Navy SEALs Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. There are no failed teams, just failed leaders. Michael Lee wants to jump in. Dakota, Mike?
Hey, Dakota, great chatting with you. Real quick, I have a close friend that was severely injured in Afghanistan, and I know out of everyone that went over there and fought in my circle, they have mental scars that'll never go away. What are you telling your compadres and your brothers that were over there that are really struggling with what we're seeing right now?
Yeah, look, we didn't cause this, right? Nothing we did caused this. This is failure of leadership at its best. But while we were there, women and children got to go to school for 20 years. While we were there, the country was a better place. While our presence being there, the people were safer. People got to go out and they got to live better lives. And that's because we were there. And you see us leaving and all this is just failing away. That's not on us. That is on the leaders who put us there. That is on the politicians who didn't have a strategy. And that's not on us. We did our job and we did it. We did amazing.
And the American people, Dakota, know that. The American people stand by our veterans, stand with our veterans, pray for our veterans, and know all the good that came out of the sacrifices that you made. Dakota, thank you for being